Okay, I will first of all rephrase and then I'll come back to the celebrities. Before you go into a marriage, at some point you are aware of what it is that your spouse does, right? Now, even if your spouse doesn't do that thing at that point in time, somehow there's an inclination to have an idea of what that person's future goals or aims or aspirations might be. So I may not be a pilot today, but somewhere in my relationship I might have said, hi man, as a kid, I wanted to fly a plane. I wanted to be this. And you must have heard it at some point. And at that point, I think that you will not be fair on the grounds of your own inability to keep up to make that marriage not work. I think it will be unfair. So let's come to celebrities. I've heard of people who say, I would have been married, but I was dating this guy who said he didn't want me to be an actress. But they met this person as an actress. So for me, it's a bit hypocritical. It's a bit, I'm not understanding. Because you saw this person as an actor or an actress and you liked the person, you approached the person, and then you're given the condition to say, oh, before we get married, you have to agree to the fact that you will stop doing this. I think it's unfair. On the other side, there's some people who go in, they might not completely spell it out, but they'll just say things like, this acting, you go reduce some shower. This thing, when people, they touch you like this. I don't try and understand what a profession entails. I look through that profession, and if it's not something that you're willing to cope with, it's unfair to make that person believe that you love that person with what he or she does, and then you come in and you give the conditions of the fact that when I'm with you, you have to stop it. This is what I love to do. This is my drive. This is my passion. This is my goal. This is my aim. So I'm going to put my life on hold, basically, because that's what you're asking me to do. Basically put my life on hold because you suddenly don't like what I do. I think that's unfair. If we're being honest with ourselves, those are the kind of divorces that courts should drag for 13 years. Sorry, 14. Before they finally grant, because it's like, hello, brothers and sisters in the Lord, are we here to play? If it is something that you knew from the onset, I really, really think that you should, I think you should commit to it. It's about commitment. And it's not just about committing to the marriage, it's about committing to your spouse. Because if you really love your wife or you love your husband, then you would want them to do things that make them happy. And hopefully what makes them happy is not pedophilia or serial murder. So hopefully they're saying legal things that make them happy. And I think if you really love that person, you try to help that person make it work, which includes acting or singing or being an entertainer or, the likes. Come on, guys, cut us some slack now. It's not easy what we do. It's not like we enjoy all of it, but we understand that it's the job and we have to give it. So please try and calm down for us more. The truth is, you can never look at something in the inside from the outside. Never. You can't. No matter how much you think you're a marriage expert and you're on the outside and you say, from the outside, let's assess it. No, if it's on the inside and you're on the outside, you can never know what goes wrong or what is happening in there. However, I saw a post one time on Twitter, I think, but it was carried on Instagram. And the person said, celebrity marriages are like plane crashes. You only hear of the ones that crash, right? So if we're honest with ourselves, the majority of celebrities, whether actors, whether musicians, whether producers, whether directors, whether comedians, whether promoters, the majority of celebrities are still married, right? So now let's talk about the few that are divorced. Hey, I don't believe that anybody goes into a relationship and plans 3 months now go divorce. One year don't they reach, I want to divorce. I think that everybody genuinely goes in and tries to make it work. I think that the reason that they even fall in love in the first place or come together is because they think, I found my soulmate and I want to be here forever. And let's be human a little bit and let's cut them some slack. Nobody goes into any venture hoping to fail. Nobody. Yes, we might say that they haven't planned and so it means that they will fail, but if we genuinely want to look at it as human beings with a human heart, come on, man. Nobody goes in and says, oh, I want to fail, or I want this to pack up, or, whatever. However, things happen. Sometimes it's, irreconcilable differences. Sometimes it's issues that they don't know. It might even be secretive issues that one party, wasn't aware of. And in that case, you can't ask that person to stay. I think you'd be mean to sit down at the outside and play righteous and say, you've got to stay in it. But in all of it, as much as I don't condone divorce, I've said it and I'll say it again. If it's a case of abuse, I wouldn't ask you to stay in there. I wouldn't ask my sister or my brother to stay in, so why should I ask you to stay in? I think every human being deserves to be happy, and people are more aware of their happiness. And if they say at some point, I'm not happy in this marriage and I think I deserve to be happier, and they want out, I don't know that we have any reason to judge them. I don't think that we should be the judge. Let's just pray for them and hope that, wish them well in their future endeavors or in their future relationships if they hope to try again. Do you understand? However, I still think that in a case of divorce or separation, there's got to be respect. There's got to be respect, especially when there's a child involved. There's got to be respect. This is your spouse's father or your ex-spouse's father or your ex-spouse's mother. I think that respect is everything. We live in a world where almost our whole lives are documented. The social media lives forever. The internet is there, and these kids can grow and see these things. You don't want to cause another generation of people hurt that both of you could not sort out. I don't think it's fair to carry it on to another generation. So while I'm saying do what makes you happy, I'm saying that in your happiness, you don't have a right to hurt your child. In your happiness, I don't know that you have that right. I don't know that you have it to hurt a child or to keep the hurt, to wait for that child in the future, right? So in divorce or in separation, let's try and make sure that there's some kind of respect. Keep your stuff in the toilet. Say whatever you need to say to each other, in the confines of your private. If you're hurt, I don't expect you to say, "Fuma, you're a fine girl." Hell no. If you're hurt, you want to say things that will hurt me. And I am very forgiving with that because I think you have a right to anger, right? But I'm just saying that keep that aside. I don't think you should bring it to the public glare and cause your ex-spouse the disrespect or cause your child some kind of hurt in the future. So do what makes you happy, but let's just try to keep it clean. And I'm a very funny breed of human being. I never say never. I never say never. Right now I'm in love with acting and I'm doing it wholeheartedly. Hey, who knows, tomorrow I might just start mechanic work. I'm like, wait, I'm enjoying this thing, yo. Or am I just going to rap and I'm like, I want to be me and Emma will be dragging Mike. Emma, I'm coming for you. But I never say never, so that's it really.